Absolutely. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start the recording. And tonight, Kristin Sharp is joining us. She's an absolute rock star, and I'm so excited to have her and have somebody else preaching to you other than me blabbing to you all the time. And so she's an 11-star diamond coach. She's a 3-time elite team, which basically means her team has killed it because of her leadership 3 years in a row. 68 months in Success Club 10 or higher, which is awesome. So exciting. So she's a Success Club legend, and she's a mom of 4 girls and a military spouse. So we are in the same mastermind group. I absolutely love. We've got a Monday mastermind group where we do weekly calls. We're always kind of like, I messaged her yesterday asking her about, the videos that she does and her live events for sneak peeks. It's just really nice to have other people to kind of bounce ideas from, and she's always full of information for us. So excited to have you here. We are pumped to learn from you, and she's going to be talking about the heart of social media, which is so important to our business. So get your pen and paper. I am ready. I am taking notes, and we're excited to have you. So go ahead and take it away.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk with you guys about this topic because it is something I feel is really important, and something I know a lot of coaches struggle with is social media, putting themselves out there, or even feeling like, oh, I'm so sucked in by social media all the time and it just taking over my life. And so I hope to give you guys some advice tonight on how to reduce some of the overwhelming feeling with that, and also how to change your mindset as to what we're using social media for. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm in a meeting. Go talk to Dad about it. Oh, goodness. Okay, sorry. She sees us. The other night, we found a snake in our backyard, and so my 6-year-old's coming to tell me that they saw another snake. So, emergencies, apparently. We live in Texas, so I'm sure there are snakes in the backyard. So let me tell you guys a little bit about me. I do have 4 little girls. They're 8, 6, 3, and 1, so that probably will not be the first interruption tonight. They often come in front of my office door during team meetings, no matter what I say, and continue to talk to me, but that's okay. That's the joy in our jobs. I'll tell you a little bit about how I started. I am a military spouse. We were stationed overseas in Japan, and I got pregnant with my first baby over there. I'm a former teacher and high school counselor. So I was working over there as a counselor on the base. And when I had my first baby, I decided to become a stay-at-home mom. That had always been in the plan for us to do. And so I left my job, and I did love my counseling job. And so I felt like a piece of me kind of got left behind, but I also felt incredibly grateful to be able to come home and raise my first baby. And fast forward a little bit, one of my friends, she had become a Beachbody coach, and she was telling me about her coach who was making $2,000 a month. It was Summer Tucker. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she makes way more than that now, but she was newer back then. And I thought, well, really? Like, she makes that much working from home? That's great for her, but not for me. I just didn't think it was something I would be successful at. And we moved back to the United States. I got pregnant again with my second baby. And our budget was so tight, going from living overseas military where you get a little bit of extra money to one income to back to stateside living. We bought a house, family's growing, and I was just, stressing all the time. How are we going to do all these things for our kids as they get bigger? Putting them in gymnastics, and I wanted to be able to travel home and see family. So I had that stress in my life. And I was looking for something that I could do to bring in a little bit of extra income. I just didn't know what that was. And then I also loved working out, but I couldn't afford the gym. And so my friend, again, reached out to me and was like, hey, military can now sign up to become a coach for free. You should do this. And she's like, by the way, we're starting a P90X challenge group. It's going to start 2 weeks after you have your baby. You should totally do it. I'm like, 2 weeks after you're nuts. And she's like, oh, it'll be fine. So, okay. So I signed up. I really had no clue, you guys, what I was doing. I didn't know it was network marketing. I didn't know what Beachbody was. I'd never done an at-home fitness program, never done Shakeology or any supplement for that matter. Like, really came into it like she told me to do it. All right, I'm up for the challenge. So I dove in. She told me to start watching these videos, told me to run a challenge group, and I'm the type of person like, okay, tell me to do it. I'm going to follow directions. And my vision began to grow. Like, well, maybe, if I can help a few friends. I started running a Shakeology challenge group, and if I could make an extra $200 a month, that would allow us some wiggle room in our budget. And I met that goal. And then it just became, well, maybe I could save to take our family to Disney World. I really wanted to be able to do that for my kids. And I met that goal. Maybe I could replace what I was making as a teacher. And I did that in about 2.5 years, and so it wasn't like super fast, but I set those little milestone goals along the way that meant something to me, and I would continue to reach for them and continue to raise the bar. So that's how I got to where I am now. I've been a coach for 6.5 years, and my husband is actually about to resign from the military. We're working on putting in that letter here any day. And it's because we are finally stationed back here in Texas. We don't want to leave. We're by our family. This is where we're from. And I am so glad that I kept going despite the slow growth in the beginning, because it's allowed us to have that opportunity to step away from living the military lifestyle, which has been great for us, but we're ready to not have to be told where to go every couple of years. We're ready for that freedom to go where we want to go. So let me talk to you guys about social media. I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint here. I'm not a graphic designer, but I did the best I could on these slides for you to get the information across. But how many of you wake up in the morning and you are stressing over what to post? Or maybe you are like, I'm nervous to put myself out there. What are people going to think? What if they judge me? I mean, I put up a scary post today, sharing my income, and it's like, okay, what are people going to think? Like, I'm putting myself out there, but you're going to find that you're going to get so many more people who support you versus who are going to, judge you. And so I think that we have to get ourselves into the mindset of remembering that all of us are here for a reason. All of us became coaches for a reason, and that reason honestly boils down to you're here to serve other people. And so when we can take the focus off of ourselves, that's why I said it ain't about you, honey. We take the focus off of ourselves, like who's going to judge me? It's put yourself out there and say, who can learn from me today? Who is going to benefit from hearing from me today? What does the person, next door need to hear to be encouraged? And so social media is an incredible and free platform for us to be able to share and encourage other people and inspire them to be healthier and to do more with their lives. So one thing I do want to say is to be very intentional with your time on social media. If you're struggling with feeling like you're on your phone all day or you're always on your computer, you can set boundaries up to help with that overwhelming feeling, but also know that that is completely in your control. When you signed up to be a coach, none of us had to sign a contract with Beachbody that said, okay, you now must be on your phone 8 to 10 hours a day. It must be glued to your hip and always on. Like, no one had to sign a contract like that, right? Yet we sign up to become coaches, and then all of a sudden it creates this problem that we think that Beachbody has given us. And it's not Beachbody's problem, it's your problem. So you have to just decide what your boundaries are, when your business hours are going to be, and then turn it off when you don't want to be plugged in. So that's the first thing. Be intentional with your time and don't be on your phone all day. Really and truly now we only need to put up like one really good, valuable post a day. I mean, maybe two, but if I can get one really meaty post up, I'm good. And then the rest is filling in the blanks with my stories, which is super easy because I don't have to overthink that. I just have fun with it. All right. So going back to this slide, sorry, it's not about you. I want you guys to imagine you have this like layer over you and just like take it off. Okay. Pretend like you're stripping away your ego. And I know sometimes we hear ego and we're like, well, ego just means like I'm super proud of myself, right? Or I'm stuck up. No, ego can also be this protective layer that we put on that protects us from sharing our true selves and portraying the real you on social media because you're afraid of what other people are going to think. So you got to get rid of your ego first. And the next thing, once you have that out of the way, remember that you're on social media to add value. Your job is to give to other people versus to get. And doesn't that completely change your mindset when it comes to how you share, or if you start to feel frustrated with social media or you're nervous take it off, the focus off of you, and put it on sharing and serving others. I'm not telling you that you have to air out all your dirty laundry to people, because there is such thing as oversharing, but don't be afraid to share where you fail, but also with that, share how you're overcoming in the process and where you're going with it. I have a brand new coach that I was so proud of yesterday. It was a super scary post. So I was actually very surprised she put it up there. But she got up on social media and put a post up about her struggle with postpartum depression. Like, she signed up a week ago to become a coach. And I sent her a private message after that. I was like, girl, I'm so proud of you for doing that. I know that wasn't easy, but look at the support that you're getting back from other women, because now you know that you're not alone in that. And so that opens up so many conversations for her. And she shared, along with that struggle, what she's doing right now to work through it. And she's taking control of what she can control in her life. And that's by starting on her health and fitness journey and putting some focus back on her. Okay, the next thing is thinking about it like a bank account. You have to make sure that you're putting plenty of deposits into other people's lives through adding value, through sharing recipes, through sharing workout tips and encouragement. And if you're putting plenty of deposits into their lives, then when you go to make a deposit, when you go to make a withdrawal, you have put enough deposits into that bank account to be able to withdraw through a call to action post. You've done the back work for you to be able to invite them, because they've been watching you. They know that, hey, this girl's legit. She's been showing up consistently every day and adding value. So I definitely want to see about what this challenge group's all about, or hear more about what our team is all about. So you got to do that back work. All right, stay in your own lane, okay? These are just 2 posts that I put up sharing me just being vulnerable, showing the messy side of things. I'm not like perfectly groomed all the time. Most of the time my hair doesn't look like this. Most of the time it's messy. Like, I constantly get on stories and my hair is like sticking up. I'm like, like, stay down. All these little baby flyaways, but that's me, you know? And you don't have to look like this picture perfect coach. In fact, I think that you're more relatable, and people realize, like, hey, if she can do this, I can do this too. When it looks so perfect and so groomed, it's not very duplicatable. And even your coaches who are on your team already are like, I can't keep up. I can't do what she's doing. My coaches can duplicate me because I don't overcomplicate it. My stories aren't super fancy. I'm just showing my day. And it's very easy for them to copy exactly what I'm doing. But the point is, stay in your own lane, you guys. And sometimes I hear coaches trying to figure out what their brand is. Your brand is you. Don't overcomplicate that. It's just you. You're not Beachbody. You're not Shakeology. You're not 21 Day Fix. It's you. I'm Kristin Sharp. So it's very important, though, that you get crystal clear on who you are and put those blinders up as well. While I see what other coaches are doing for inspiration, it can also become a distraction, and you get to feeling like, okay, I'm not like Melanie Mitro, or I'm not like Lindsay Matway. How am I supposed to do this? Or we start trying to talk like them, and that's not going to speak to your audience. It just won't. So my best advice is, when you write your posts, I try to write them exactly how I'm going to talk. So think about what similarities you have with other coaches and what are the differences. Because sometimes it's hard to decipher, well, what makes me different? Like, I mean, there's nothing like super unique about me, honestly. You know, I don't have some special talents. I'm a mom. I got 4 kids. I hardly ever leave my house. I didn't go anywhere today. But I have to really drill down, okay, what more specifically can I talk about that describes me? You know, I love God. I'm a military spouse. I love dry shampoo. I'm a former teacher and counselor. I'm from Texas. I went to Texas A&M. Talk about my dogs and my cat. Those are differences between me and other coaches. So if you're always leading with being a coach and selling Shakeology and the workout programs, and that you run challenge groups, while we weave those things in, if you're constantly leading with that rather than the differences, people don't see you. They're not relating. You know what I mean? You're just like everybody else. You're blending in too much. I heard Jatana Jackson call that being vanilla. You're too plain. So jazz it up and share the other pieces of your life. And you've probably seen this before. I don't know if April shared it with you, but I know a lot of coaches have shared this with their team. It's a good example. you could use this color wheel. And if you don't have it, I can definitely get it to you guys. But you can print this off and just brainstorm some things that just describe you that you could fill in this color wheel. And then when you're stuck, making sure that you're weaving all of these things into your social media. Let's see. So the next thing to remember, though, you guys, is the magic is in the connection with other people. Sometimes where coaches are doing really well with social media, they're posting all the time, yet they're not doing the behind the scenes back work of actually reaching out to people who are liking and commenting their posts. They're not making new connections and building that relationship. I'm a firm believer in, relationships to me are key with this business. People don't know, they don't care how much you know until they know that you care about them. So if you do that back work first and get to know them and engage on their Facebook page and see what's going on in their life, they're going to be much more receptive to what you have to say to them. Also, social media, it's your storefront. You got to make sure that you're using it to teach other people, that you're inspiring them and empowering them. View your page as an outsider. If you were looking at your social media, going back to your page and you scanned it, I do this from time to time. What is the vibe that people are getting from me? And I may need to sometimes think, okay, I need to weave in a little bit more family stuff here. Change it up a little bit, because sometimes I can get very heavy on the fitness and coaching because I love it. That is a huge piece of my life. It is my full-time job now. So I have to be careful to not get too far the other way, because my audience, it's funny. Like, you'll post about a challenge group and it's like crickets, and then you'll post about, your favorite dress or something, and it's like, it's like, okay, I see what you guys like, right? All right. So the other thing is, I don't know if I have a slide for this. Oops, I don't. Sorry. Having a social media plan. When you sit down on Sunday nights, think about what is your objective for the week. What are some of the goals that you have? Me personally, I like to focus the first part of the month more on recruiting to my challenge groups, because my goal is to hit Success Club as fast as possible and fill up my challenge group. Then I switch my focus more to recruiting type posts. You could do both throughout the week. It's really up to you. I'm still sharing the fitness side along with coaching right now, but right now my focus is more on recruiting because I've already got plenty of challengers committed. But you want to have some sort of plan, even if you don't necessarily have to plan out all your posts. If you do, that's awesome. I'll tell you, I'm a sapphire. I'm not real good about that. But I do have it in my mind, like, okay, this Thursday I need to talk about, my sneak peek coming up. And I need to have several little posts throughout the week talking about coaching. And I will brainstorm and try to have some pictures ready to go about what I want to share and say. But you do need to be somewhat intentional about your social media. And maybe if you're trying to figure out how to advertise about coaching, that you need to write down all the reasons that you love to be a coach, and you can weave those things in. For me, it's things like breaking away from work and being able to take my kids to the pool this summer, not having to put them in childcare, being able to break away from military life. That's going to be something I'm able to share soon. I haven't put it out there yet completely, but I've hinted at it. Not returning to a full-time teaching job. And then the community of coaching. I love my community. So all of those things, you need to brainstorm why you're a coach to help you figure out how do you share the coaching opportunity in a way that, it's just weaved in, where it's not every post is a call to action, but you're talking about why you love it all the time and the freedom it gives you. All right. Oh, and the other thing I want to add with that is your Instagram stories. When you're recruiting to coaching and you're putting up a lot of posts about the coaching opportunity, have your Instagram stories match up with that. So today I've been talking about coaching on my social media, and then on my Instagram stories, I did little 15-second clips about how I got started, and I talked about a lot of the common misconceptions. So people are watching that, and they're seeing my posts at the same time, so they're starting to build this connection, and they're putting this story together and connecting all the dots. So that helps everything just make sense and flow. All right. That's pretty much, I talked really fast tonight, but guys, I started out just like everybody else. You know, I had plenty of posts up there that I was not doing correctly. I had links, you know, I shared flyers of like T25 back in the day. This is 6.5 years ago. And now, like, you know, you just cannot, even back then it wasn't really that great, but especially now on social media, it is just not going to speak to your audience. They're so inundated with flyers. And I will tell you, like, my posts that are just more simple, me in my workout clothes, nothing fancy and doctored up, those do better than a one with my professional pictures that I paid a lot of money to have done, me holding a sign. Like, those don't relate, at least with my niche. So it doesn't have to be super fancy, but you know, everybody's going to make mistakes in the beginning. That's part of your business, right? You just keep failing your way forward. And the beauty is that we learn from our mistakes and we grow and we learn the lessons from it. But you can't look good and get better at the same time. It's just not possible. So you must be willing to endure a period of being a little bit incompetent and not having enough courage on your way to getting better and perfecting it. And always keep your focus, again, on the mission over the money. And if you keep your focus on the mission is to serve other people, the rest is going to come. The rest will, the money will come, the income will come, and your income is simply a reflection of the lives that you're changing. So remember what you're doing. Remember, you're here on purpose to serve a purpose. Be intentional with your words and your actions that you're putting out there, especially on social media. So that's my talk.
Thank you, Kristin. That was so awesome. I really, really love that so much, and I can relate so much. I feel like we really do have a lot in common with our niche there. You know, just being a hot mess, and I love that. And honestly, I think so many people probably, you know, reach out to Kristin and let her know that, you know, you're such an inspiration. And the reason is because she's real and people can relate to that. And just being real and reminding people that you struggle and you don't have this perfect life, that, you know, you wake up with beautiful lashes on and your world is, you know, full of butterflies and rainbows. And I think really, truly inspiring people is about letting people know, like, hey, I struggle with this too. Here's what I'm going through. Here's my message to you. So, you know, just Kristin does a really great job of turning her mess into a message and continuing to inspire people. So I think it's really important when you guys are going through stuff to talk about it. Use social media as your journal. I mean, there's plenty of things that you'll need to leave out, you know, if it's too personal for you. But I think, like, run towards the vomit. If you can make a post that makes you feel like this inside, that's when the magic happens and people really start connecting with you. So Gina had a question for you, Kristin. She said, do you follow a specific schedule of topics for posting primarily on Instagram?
I wish I could say I did. But I don't. I probably should. I'm just not that organized, I will be honest. So that should tell you that you can make this work. I do think, like I said, I try to sit down on Sunday nights and plan out my week. I can see what's coming up and at least write down, okay, I need a call to action post, and I'll start putting something together, and I put it in the notes of my phone. So when I'm ready to post it, it's already written. But yeah, I don't really have a specific schedule of topics. I just kind of go throughout my day and share when working in the morning. Here's me making my Energize. Here's me doing my workout, and just throughout my day.
Yeah, I have one coach that she said, I just try to do some type of story, 1 or 2 every couple hours, every 2 hours or something. So maybe if you just have to set an alarm, and it doesn't have to be scripted, you know, if you're making a shake, do a boomerang of it. Today I did a really quick video because I always have so many people, they'll be like, oh, I don't know if I can do shakes in the morning. It takes too long. And I'm like, so I did a video today. I've had people tell me that. They're like, I don't want to wash the blender, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I have some, you know, I just did a quick video of my shake. And then I did another video where I was like, I'm out the door, 2 minutes later, bye. Like, just, you know, taking whatever objections you get and putting it into stories is really helpful too.
Yeah. And as far as posting on Instagram, I put up usually like a quote every couple of days, and then just share a workout type picture or something related to coaching.
Right.
So,
and when
fitness specific more so than life, but I weave in
yes.
a little bit of that.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a difference in the way that you post with Instagram and Facebook, that Instagram has to be a little bit more purposeful. People know most likely that you're there to be a coach. So providing value is important, and still letting people into your life is important. But I definitely feel like you have to be a little bit more purposeful on Instagram because there's so many huge accounts out there. So, but what Kristin said on going through Sunday, and maybe even writing out, you know, as kind of like a journaling entry as well, like what you're thankful for or what you love about coaching. And then you can just pick those things and say, okay, so if I want to make 3 coach posts this week, Monday, I'm going to talk about this thing I love about it. Wednesday, I'm going to talk about this thing I love about it. And then maybe Friday or Saturday is my call to action. So you can pick like your breadcrumbing posts from writing that all out on Sunday, like she said. Yeah. So does anybody else have questions for Kristin and social media?
So April, you're a Sapphire?
Yes. I think I'm a Ruby Sapphire. Sometimes I'm a Sapphire Ruby, and sometimes I'm a Ruby Sapphire. It just depends.
Mine are like that, and there's very little emerald and pearl.
Same. Same.
Awesome. Y'all should take the test if you haven't yet.
Yeah, I posted it in the link because I love it so much that I added it to my blog so you can access it from there. I would say Angie is probably an emerald. She's an accountant, and no, yeah, so I would probably say that. Probably Tori too. I don't know. We'll see. So I would say go click on that link, and even if you can't open it or take it now, it doesn't take very long. It'd be really cool to see what you are if you haven't done that yet. It's a really cool kind of thing to understand your personality. So yeah, well, thank you so much. I'll let you go tend to your babies, but we really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. This was super helpful. And what part of Texas are you in? Because I'll be in Austin next week.
I'm in Houston.
Oh, so you're about like an hour or so.
Close to Austin.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, yeah, thank you so much for your time. Have a great night, and we will talk to you soon, and I'll post the recording in the team a little bit later tonight. Oh, wait. Time out. Let's take a picture. I'm making that my girls always take, girls and Greg, always take. So Greg, can you come on for a picture? Where are you at? To post in stories. So we've been trying to get better at this. So, all right. Let me get my chat out of the way. Hold on.
No, I always do that at the end too. I'm like, wait, don't.
I know. I always almost forget. All right.
Make sure you take an actual picture this time and not a video.
I'm terrible at that.
Thanks, Greg. Okay. Maybe he's working out in there, huh?
Yes, that's Greg. Way to go, Greg. All right. 1, 2, 3, cheese. I sound like I'm talking to Adley. Okay, I'll share this in the group. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Kristin. You're awesome, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.